Hello, welcome to StreamPixel. This is our first live streaming, and I'm really excited about today. So I was uh, first. Let me clear what this stream is all about and what is actually going to happen through these streams. So you people have, I mean, lot of people have. You people have already gone through my tutorials, and you know. Somebody likes them, somebody dislike them, somebody finds it really important, helpful, somebody don't. But some people are actually there who actually contact me and say that, can you people make a sort of interactive things where we can, discuss about some things. Or some people has actually sent us mail that, how to, or through Facebook, or through Twitter, and say that, what, we have some doubt regarding some areas of some softwares like Trace Max or Maya or something else. So how we can, address those problems. So, and we are thinking about that, how to help these kind of peoples, and how to help these kind of people who are actually, try to get into the software for the first time. Because I have seen a lot of people are actually telling me that, the okay, fine, you have tutorials, but the tutorials are specific on some topics or some particular things. And you might have a series of tutorials, but it will be really helpful if you actually have something really interactive sort of things. So to be very honestly speaking, I didn't have any way out for that. Suddenly it strike me down that that we can do a live streaming, and we can create a a virtual classroom sort of environment over here, where we can help with each other, or we can go back and forth. uh, I don't know whether it's gonna work or not. I don't know whether it's gonna helpful for the people who are actually been, looking for this kind of situation. But I hope that this is might gonna help you. So here is the idea that, we'll go through a very basic classroom sort of situations. Like I will, and these videos will be ideally for those people who have just started the softwares, or maybe just started learning the craft, that how these things actually works and all those. And uh, if you are looking for a kind of a flow, this might help you. I will discuss absolutely for the beginners who actually, just started this software specifically. uh, Definitely my tutorials will be as usual as they are coming, but these will be like a kind of an interactive ones where you people can ask me certain questions, or you can send me some of the queries related to today's streaming, so that I can come back and a do a restream on those specific topics. So I hope somebody will definitely gonna come up. So okay, so I'd really appreciate if you actually, uh, ask me some of the questions, and I'll try to answer them as as soon as I can. Not to mention that I'll be in a flow, and I might not, see all those questions or maybe comments on the flow. and I might take some of the time, so please bear with me. But I would like to, even if I miss something, I would like to try to make it for to answer them on my next stream if it is possible. So okay, let me see how the things are going on. So great. Welcome. Welcome, Fernando. Great. So I'm gonna start the very basic of the 3ds Max when people come for the first time, and they do the start their 3ds Max course from somewhere, maybe some they bought some tutorial, or maybe they joined some classes. But this will be something I'd like to start with something really basic, that what 3D is all about. So when you open this software, 3ds Max or Maya or any other 3D software, you will see this is a very common thing, that these four viewports are generally visible, or sometimes you will see only one viewport, but you will definitely see the viewport, which is your main work area. Now to be precisely, that these are the four viewports that we are going to work, and these are you need to understand how these four actually works, because the first thing that you will start in this particular workflow, this is called modeling. And if you have already idea of modeling, so then you will understand that these four views are actually a really a great help for you to understand how your models is actually getting into the shapes. So first we will start about these four viewports, and how to you know understand how they works. So for that, I would like to show you something which you might feel okay. Yeah, so I just try to replicate the same three viewport over here. So what I will do is so this will be the top, this will be the front. Sorry, it's become fart, I guess. Okay, this will be the left or side, and this will be the perspective. So these are the general four viewports that you will gonna see when you start with any 3D softwares. Now what are these uh, viewports are? Let's suppose if I create a a shape where I can see that particular shape from four different cameras. Like one object is there, and there are four cameras in different angles. That is these four viewports. These are the different cameras that has been assigned in the 3D environment, and which will actually gonna help you to do the modeling or any other stuffs, you know. So first it will start with the top one. Now let me give you some example. Let's suppose some objects is from the top viewport. Okay, and from the front viewport it's looking like this. So what will be the other two? Now here I have to mention that these three just let me change my color. These three viewports are called orthographic viewport. Okay, if you see this one, these one are orthographic viewport, and this one is a perspective viewport, where which means is that we are going to have a two-dimensional view into these three viewports, whereas the perspective will help us to capture the third dimension. So you have to keep in your mind that, you know, this these viewports, which is the orthographic viewport, is actually derived from the word called orthographical. I mean, it's a kind of an orthodox graphical view where you see the, you know, the graph papers where uh, you have the coordinates, 2D coordinates and all. So that's an orthodox graphical view. These three are actually the orthodox graphical view, these three. Whereas the third one is a perspective view. Perspective is actually stands for as perspective. You know, the specs we say to, you know, the vision and all, how we actually see things in our real world. So that's how these names are actually came up, with the orthodox graphical view and the perspective view. So this is the view where you can have this three-dimensional axis. If you see the viewport over here, it is only two dimension. Here there are three dimension, three axes are out there. So that's why these calculations are actually been, the three-dimensional calculations been made from on these on these particular viewport, that is perspective. Now the shape that has been created over here, if you try to draw this particular, the same shape which is from the top view is a circular, is not going to look the same as from the front view. It is completely straight. Now why this is happening? Because this particular front view is not going to you know, calculate the depth on this particular 3D model. So let me show you how it will be seen in the, I'm trouble with the mouse. Okay, so this is same thing will happen in the side view, but in the perspective view, if you can imagine, the things will be changed dramatically, where you will, oops, my mistake. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so what we are actually looking at is a kind of an 2D environments plus 3D environment, and this is how the any 3D softwares normally or usually works. Now let me do a quick example with the same thing what we have actually seen in the two-dimensional canvas. I will create some very simple stuffs. How I'm creating, it doesn't matter, because right now I'm not actually, you know, looking to explain all those stuffs, which I will definitely, there is no doubt about that. And okay, so if you see very precisely, this, there is no depth actually. Even if you convert these two with a shaded view, though we are actually can see the shade, but actually there is no calculation of 3 dimension in all these three views. So this tree is actually kind of a supportive view for this one. So it's the identical situation which has been created over here. So this is the idea of the viewports that we always usually see in 3D softwares. Okay, let me see if anyone. Okay. Fine. Okay, so what will happen when. Okay, so this is the scenario that you will see when we start creating modeling. Now, the thing is that how to start your models. Now, this is really interesting in 3ds Max. Now, in 3ds Max, uh, first let me introduce what are there other than the viewport. You know, so sorry, I might not be able to reply back soon because I will be, you know, back and forth from the software, and sometimes I might definitely miss it. So please bear with me. Otherwise, I might be lost the flow which I was actually going through. Fine. Anyway, uh, uh, it's okay. So what will happen? So what I have actually shown you is the very basics idea of any 3D software which actually uh, happens in which actually helps you to create all the stuffs in your 3D operations. So when you open 3ds Max, so top portion is actually going to be the tools, the right hand portion which is the most important one where you actually get your all the operations being done. So this portion is really important. This is where you create your object, you change your models, you create your lights, you change all the attributes of the lights and all those stuffs. The left hand side is they have actually changed it from the older version. If you have an older version, this is 2018. So if you are having an older version, then I think this is something which came up like a outliner view, like where you can, you know, sort it out according to your type of objects inside the scene, like maybe a geometry, maybe a camera, in a light, or bones or something else. So this is the area where you can actually can see what are the objects are out there listed in your scene. So when you start any sort of 3D software, I would like to tell that you start with first model. The reason is that is the stepping stone, that is the first platform that you need, even if you like to light or like to animate object or whatever it is, the first thing that you required is a model. So in any 3D software, This is the thing that you actually required first, a model. Now in any 3D software, um, you also get some primitive objects. So in 3ds Max also you will have some primitives like standard primitives or extended primitives. Now these primitives, what is the primitives are actually, let me see if anyone is online. Okay, whoever is online, I'd like to tell you that this is kind of an scenario where we try to create a virtual classroom sort of things, where I started with very basic stuffs of different 3D softwares, like how to start with modeling, how to start with lighting, and all the stuffs. And if you are following this, please you can write me back and ask some questions in stereopixel@gmail.com, and definitely I would try to reply, or create another live streaming session for that, for those questions, so that we can create an something uh, which will help us to you know uh, solve our problems interactively. So yeah, so I was and today is a testing, so testing a test stream. So uh, uh, you can place your questions for 3ds Max, and I really like to answer them, whatever I can. And let me see if there is anyone is okay. Fine, fantastic. So three people are there. Anyway, no problem. So we have already discussed about the viewports, how the viewports actually works. Now we will start with the primitive objects, which actually you can see will be on the right hand side of that. So how to get those primitive objects? Go to the create button. There are a lot of buttons that are over there. First one is create, second one is modify, third one is a hierarchy, fourth one is a motion, and display, settings, and all those stuffs. But the first one which we'll start with is the create menu. Under the create menu, you will have the geometry, you will have shapes which can be constructed through like a curve, or lines and all. You can create lights, you can create cameras, you can create helper objects, space wraps, and also systems like bones, like daylight, and also the wipe. So first start with the uh, really primitive objects like box. I mean, again, every time somebody is actually looking at this particular stream, this is a very test stream. Here we are trying to create a virtual classroom where people can learn from the basics, and our streaming plans will be available soon. Please follow us in the Facebook page, and also follow us in Twitter, so that I will definitely update all those all those the streaming programs that we are coming up, and you'll be able to follow us on the live stream, where you can see us on those particular topics. So first, this let's try with the box. What we can do is, like, what is its primitives are all about. Now let's see what primitives actually do. Primitives gives you a kind of a stepping stone or platform, a very basic platform to work on your models. Like, let's suppose I want to create a particular car, I want to create a character, I want to create some objects models like a bottle, or maybe a keyboard, or a mouse, or even a very simple one like a table or chair. So what uh, primitive objects do? Primitive object gives you a starting point, and every object is actually start with the primitive objects, be it a full grown character, a cartoon character, an object, or anything. It start with a primitive objects. So for the box, what we will do, I will always suggest some, to my students generally that please start with the top viewport. It's relatively easy to understand because we generally start from the top to draw something or something like that. But it doesn't mean that you cannot start from front view or the left view or even the perspective view. But when you are starting something for the first time, please go through the top view. So click and drag, release your mouse button, then push it up, and then again click, and your operation will be done. Now this thing is sometimes, takes a lot, some for some people to take a really long time to understand how this interactive creation is actually being made. So be careful about that. Don't press yourself. You will definitely get. Even when I started long back around 10 years, I was really had no clue how to create all those simple objects. But later I slowly start working on it. It's like a new relationship. You have to give it time, and then you will get to know about this. So yeah, again, just delete that, click and drag, then release that button, click, and then push up or down, and then again click. Now this is the way you can actually create this particular box. Now again, click and drag, push up or down, and click. It's done. So you have successfully created a box. Now this is really funny. I'm talking about very basic things. Now I would like to clear if you have anyone new over here. Okay, fine. So this is a kind of a virtual classroom I've tried to create, and through these classrooms I will definitely gonna answer your questions on the current topic that we will be discussing or streaming about. And also you can write me back if you have any sort of doubt on that particular specific topic in stereopixel@gmail.com, and ask me questions so that we can revert back in the next streaming with the answers. So this is the things all about. So yeah, so the people who are actually for the first time using the softwares, you need to know few stuffs. So that's what we are discussing. This is a test stream, so don't worry about that. This is a very basic topics, what you might have already known of. If you don't know, go through it. You might found something really interesting. So fine. So when you create a particular object, what you can do, you can do a lot of things which will actually lead you towards the modify panel. Okay, so even before go to the modify panel, I'll just go through some of the things that I'd like to show you. That not only there is this in the create button, in even under geometry there are some other options where you can actually create. That is, apart from the standard primitives, you can have a whole bunch of things which you actually can create, which is related to geometry, which where those are extended primitives, compound objects, particle system, windows, dynamic objects, stairs, and all those stuffs, where we'll definitely go through some of them, which actually help us to create some of the complex objects through these. So let's suppose I create a particular a box sort of. Yeah, so this is a kind of an wooden plank, maybe, where you want to create something out of it. Now what will be that? That is up to you. You have to plan before. 3D softwares are not something like you just have to click and it will be created. You have to tell them what you are actually looking at. So what you do is you need to modify these objects. Like let's suppose I want to bend this particular plank and want to create an arch. Now this is where you need to modify your basic primitives. Though there are certain levels of editing available within the primitives where which you can find, or else you have to use some of the modifier objects or modifying uh, uh, some of the modifiers to make make things happen for you. So for that you have to go to the next panel, that is called modify. Now all the modifying parameters will be available. Like, let's suppose the first one, the parameters are available for this box is the length, width and height. If you increase those, you'll be able to see that your object is actually changing its shape. Now this is the most important thing, that where I should go if I want to change something, that is the modify panel. This is where you need to go. So all those people who are actually following this stream or the video for the first time, I would like to tell them again that this is kind of an we are trying to create an environment, a virtual classroom sort of thing, where you can join us and can actually uh, ask some questions of the current topic. Please don't distract with different topic. Like we will have topics streaming on rigging, we will have streaming on lighting, we will have streaming on texturing also, animation also, even the character animation also, and also the particle systems or dynamics. Though so please ask the question from topic to topic, and you will find what kind of the upcoming topics for the streaming. Please follow us in the Facebook, our Facebook page, uh, where we will try to uh, post it as early as we can, and you'll be able to see it. So this is a completely test streaming, and we are trying to tell people how to start with 3ds Max. So if anybody is watching, I just tell that person hello, somebody's watching, I saw. And oh yeah, the two people are there. So okay, so I hope my voice is audible to you people, I guess. Great, I think so. Yeah, hi. uh, Okay, fine. So the idea of this streaming is the same as I'm talking about, that we will come back with the different topics from very basic to intermediate level, where people can understand what you can ask me questions of specific things which is related to the topics and all, and I hope I will be able to answer you back as much as I can. Or if we don't have any sort of answer for that particular time being, then allow us to come back you know with the next time, with some schedule live streaming, and then where we can actually answer back your questions. Great. So okay, so let me continue with it. So what we can do with this wooden plank, if we want to make it an arch, we can actually use a modifier called bend. press B. Now you have to be very careful about this one. If you are not selecting any object, uh, you cannot use any modifier. You won't be able to see any modifier in the modifier list. So you have to select that and hit to the modifier list and press B. Now the thing is, okay, the obvious question is will be something that, how can I know that there is something called bend? I mean, okay, I'm starting this software for the first time and I have no idea if there is something called bend. That is the fundamental question, that is the fundamental thing that you have to know before you are actually uh, starting your software. Now starting your software doesn't mean that you are watching for the first time and you will be able to know that there is a modifier called bend. No, starting the software means when you are starting a project and while using the software. So learning is something where it takes a lot of time and you have to give it, and you have to start from somewhere at some point. So whenever you are actually learning something, you need to have some target. Like, let's suppose you are starting starting the rigging for the first time. So what you can do is, I want to create a rig, a very simple rig, and then try to achieve that rig you start learning. So here also I have actually took up a very small thing which is called a target. I want to create an arch. Now how I can make an arch? I have taken a wooden plank and now I have to bend it. Now how I can bend it? Now you can search for the documentation of the software, and you can fetch the information how to create a bend for your model, and then you have to learn how that particular bend actually works. So what I have over here is a box and I want to apply bend. Now if I hit bend, what is happening over here is it gives me some parameters for applying, and I need to know what these parameters are actually works. So for that you need to go to the documentation for the software and learn that what exactly do. Okay, fine, I can understand tutorials are different and this is something different. I'm not here to give you some tutorials where you can get some solution with the snap of a finger. This is something where you can actually learn a particular process, how to do, or how to handle your situation where you are actually in for the first time. This is all about this particular live streaming, and I hope in time we will be able to understand each other and will also help each other with this. Okay, I'll just let you people know whoever actually joined us later that this is the first streaming. This is a test streaming from StereoPixel, and I would like to tell you this is we are trying to create an virtual classroom sort of environment over here, where you'll be able to interact with me and ask me questions, or even mail me uh, and ask me questions for the topics that we will cover for the day. So let's see how many people are. Two people are still. Two people are out there. Okay, no problem. I haven't actually informed in any formal way. Just this was just a kind of a test, and I hope for the next time when I will schedule a stream, I will definitely inform through my channel and also through our Facebook page that we have. And so please like and subscribe to the channel, where you can get the information when we are going to stream the next time. uh, so uh, for the first time, when you apply bend and if you increase the angle, you see the object is bending, but it's not bending actually. I hit Alt W to maximize the view, or else you can use this button over here. So you see that something is missing over here. The missing part is the subdivision that we actually can increase in the basic parameter of the box. And if you increase the height subdivision to certain level, you can see the bend is actually calculating. Okay, so now if you see, if you go to the bend and if you increase or decrease the amount, you can see your object is actually bending. And even uh, you can use this for kind of an animation and all. So yeah, it's 180 degree, let's say. Yeah, so it's a 180 degree bend I have applied, and I got a perfect arch here. Fine. So okay, so I think so this is how actually you approach towards your model. And so I would like to tell you that I'd stop for today, because I was not I mean, kind of, this was not a kind of a scheduled one. So maybe a lot of people are not aware of this one and not getting the information correctly. So next time when we'll join, we'll start with some modeling stuff, and I will do some very basic models, and how to handle your model, how to plan them, so that you can actually learn the craft and also the approach towards them. And uh, ask me questions, send me some request or our question related to that, how to handle certain scenarios, how to handle those objects, and how to create certain portion of a particular model, which which might be difficult, which you might facing difficulties with. And I'll try my level best to interact with you and clear up your doubts related to the software, and also related to that particular subject. So yeah, I would like to stop this streaming right now, and for the next time when we'll come back, we'll definitely have uh, a more interactive session. And yeah, uh, hope this will help a lot of people who would like to get some information regarding its specific software and all. So thank you very much, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And next time when you actually, thank you. Yeah, I will try to, please tell if next broadcast will definitely next streaming will be definitely a scheduled one. So people will be aware of the topic also. And yeah, fine. Otherwise you'll be I mean, Otherwise people can actually um, yes. Yeah. So yeah, please please make a request topic on at gmail.com so that we can take that and make up a session out of it. And yeah, that's it. So I'm just closing this stream right now, and hope you'll be hope you will enjoy all the streaming which is coming up, and which will help you to overcome or clear your doubts on the specific topics. Thank you very much.